Okay, so imagine this. A really serious criminal case, disturbing charges involved, and the defense blaming the COVID pandemic for a complete mental disintegration.
It sounds pretty extraordinary, doesn't it?
It really does. So today we're doing a deep dive into this specific case, Paul Sturch, a consultant urological surgeon who is charged with child image crimes.
All right.
And our mission really is to unpack the details from our source material about this very unusual COVID stress defense. What does it tell us, about how the justice system handles individual accountability when huge societal pressures are involved?
Yeah, it's this intersection, isn't it, between personal responsibility and these massive external forces like a global crisis. This case really puts that tension under a microscope.
Absolutely does. It makes you ask, can something like a pandemic, legally speaking, change how we view someone's judgment, especially for something this serious?
Exactly. So let's get into the specifics. Where do we start?
We need to start with the facts of the offense itself. Paul Sturch, he's a 41-year-old surgeon, right? A consultant urologist. And law enforcement identified him. Apparently, he first popped up on their radar discussing an interest in young girls in an online chat, but it was with an undercover officer.
Ah, okay. So an undercover operation.
Yes. And then things escalated. When officers went to his apartment in Wandsworth, they actually saw him trying to mess with a memory stick, trying to tamper with it.
Oh, wow. Trying to destroy evidence.
Seems like it. And when they recovered that memory stick, it had hundreds of indecent images of children on it. Some apparently as young as 4 years old.
Gosh, that's incredibly disturbing. And legally, what happened next?
Well, he pleaded guilty. Our sources say he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of making indecent images of children.
Okay, so a guilty plea. That confirms the factual basis. No trial needed on guilt or innocence then.
Right, so the focus shifts entirely to the sentencing, and this is where that defense comes in.
The COVID stress argument.
Exactly. At Kingston-upon-Thames Crown Court, his lawyers argued that the, quote, immense pressure and exhaustion from working on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic caused this mental disintegration.
Mental disintegration. That's strong language.
It is. They told the court he had a depressive disorder, which led to poor judgment and impulsivity, essentially linking his frontline work stress directly to these crimes.
I imagine that's a difficult connection for many people to accept, given the nature of the offenses.
Absolutely. You have to wonder, is there any precedent for this kind of defense? Or is this really new territory, trying to link culpability to something like a pandemic?
Well, that's what makes it so significant, legally speaking. It's not just saying I was stressed. Claiming mental disintegration or a specific disorder like depression as a direct cause. That usually needs really strong psychiatric evidence to be taken seriously by a court. It throws a huge challenge at the justice system, doesn't it? How do you weigh an unprecedented global event against individual actions, especially such grave ones? It's a massive balancing act for the judge.
Acknowledging potential factors, but still ensuring accountability. Yeah, that sounds incredibly tough.
One of the toughest dilemmas, really, morally and legally.
So after all that, what was the actual sentence? Did this defense work, in a sense?
Well, the judge handed down a 6-month prison sentence, but it was suspended for 18 months.
Suspended, so no immediate jail time.
Correct. But, and this is crucial, it's not like he walked away with nothing. Far from it.
Okay, what else was involved?
There are conditions. He has to complete a 30-day rehabilitation requirement. He's also on the sex offenders register for 7 years.
7 years, okay.
And there's a sexual harm prevention order, which restricts his internet use. Plus, and this is huge for him professionally, he faces disciplinary action. That could easily mean the end of his medical career.
Right. So even with the suspended sentence, the consequences are still pretty severe.
Absolutely, it's significant. The court didn't just dismiss the crimes because of the defense. The sentence, with all those conditions, shows the court trying to navigate this complex space, acknowledging maybe some external pressures, perhaps, but still imposing serious long-term consequences and prioritizing public safety.
It kind of signals how the system is wrestling with these big societal traumas impacting individuals, doesn't it? But without excusing the behavior.
Exactly. It sets a kind of nuanced precedent, perhaps, for how similar situations might be handled in the future.
So, wrapping this deep dive up, this Paul Sturch case, it really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? About that tension between extenuating circumstances like a global pandemic and just fundamental personal responsibility.
Definitely. It pushes the boundaries. How does the justice system even evaluate a mental state defense when it's tied to something everyone went through? like COVID.
Yeah, and it forces us, maybe as a society, to think about how we handle the impact of these huge events on people's behavior, especially when the behavior is, well, so far beyond the pale.
How do we balance understanding with accountability for truly grave offenses? What does this case really imply about where we draw that line, especially now in a world that feels like it's facing more and more of these large-scale crises?
It's a challenging question, something definitely to mull over.